Hi, my name is Jeremy Ashworth. I'm the pastor at Circle of Peace Church in Peoria, Arizona. We're an all-ages, family-friendly Christian church in the suburbs of Phoenix. I'm making these little videos primarily with my own church in mind, but they're open to anybody. Not a sermon, it's not a Bible study, just the kind of thing that maybe we would talk about if we were just sitting on the couch together. I want to share a couple of thoughts with you about conflict. One of the amazing things about conflict to me is that very often conflict will take on a life of its own. Maybe you've had this experience, imagine a married couple and they're doing laundry, and somehow in the course of folding socks, there's a big blow up and a big misunderstanding, and they end up yelling at each other. Now, what is that about? It's not really about socks. Maybe it started there, I guess, but it went way past socks. Things got contentious, things got contagious. There was a sort of energy, and then one person escalated and the other person escalated, and they fed off each other. And then all of a sudden you're in the fight for your life, and it's very ugly, and you've lost perspective, and it's really just about socks. At that point, the conflict has taken on a life of its own. Now, I want you to hear me. I don't think all conflict is bad, and I don't think all conflict is as superficial as how to fold socks. I guess what I'm trying to say is that what happens in conflict, not always but often, is that it takes on a life of its own. And at that point, conflict is a combination of two different things. When a conflict takes on a life of its own, it's often a combination of at least two different things. There is, on one hand, the content, which is what the argument is about. But mixed in with the content is a whole lot of chaos, which is what the argument has become. So a content would be the issue, the content would be the substance, the content would be the goal, the content would be the legitimate concern, what the conflict is about. But the chaos builds over time. So the chaos could be the insults, the chaos could be the mischaracterizations, the chaos could be the rage. Frankly, conflicts go to rage a lot. And they're all mixed in there. The loss of proportion, the loss of perspective, it's all there. Now, once you're at that point in the conflict, at least I have found, once the chaos gets mixed in with the content, you're in real trouble, because it's hard to separate the two. The people who are really committed to the content, what the argument is about, can be so committed to the content that they're willing to go to war. They'll say the chaos I have to create is worth the content. The end justifies the means. On the other hand, other folks would maybe look at the whole mess and say, all I see is chaos. I don't see any content, I don't see any substance, I don't see any legitimate concern that's there. And they might dismiss the content just because of the presence of the chaos. Still with me? Okay. In either case, if we are going to be stewards of conflict, and as Christians, we're stewards of everything. We're stewards of time, money, sex, bodies, attitude, relationships. We're stewards of everything, including our conflict. If we're going to be stewards of our conflict, then we have to deal with both the chaos and the content if it gets to that point. So if we don't deal with the chaos, if we don't de-escalate, if we don't back off or understand or work with some of the rage, it's really hard to get to the substance. But what I find a lot of people do is they don't ever want to deal with the substance. They just want to feel better. They just want the chaos to go away. And if that happens, you never get around to the substance. You never get around to actually fixing the problem. It's like the prophet Jeremiah in the Old Testament, Jeremiah 6:14, where he says, "They dress the wounds of my people as though it were not serious." Right? They just treat a deep wound as though it's superficial. Peace, peace, they say, when there is no peace. So you definitely have to work with the chaos, but you can't just take that away. You have to work with, you have to deal with the substance that's there. Being a steward of all things, including being a steward of conflict, means when conflict has taken on a life of its own, we deal with both the chaos. We're stewards of the chaos, and we're stewards of the content. Little teaching there, I guess, friends. Thanks so much for tuning in. I would love to hear about how this resonates or doesn't resonate with you. Love ya, miss ya. Happy to do these little videos. Take care. Bye.